deer hunt 2024 in both the states of Idaho and Arizona for us is over. And it was an odd year for me. Frankly, I had a granddaughter that got married, great big huge wedding, lots of family. No time for scouting, no time for doing anything. Her wedding, and then I had a 50-year high school reunion. Yeah, I've hit it. Yeah, I'm there. And from there, drove back with my brother-in-law Kevin and his son-in-law Jacob, who had a tag for Idaho. And we got everything loaded up. We got up there, we couldn't even set up the tent up, pull our tent up in there. Bought a little trailer to pull behind my side-by-side. Couldn't pull that thing up because it was raining all the time. So we actually pulled the four-wheelers, the side-by-sides out of the trailer and slept in the trailer. You could hear the rain all night long. And of the 4 days that we hunted, we really only maybe got about a day and a half of hunting in, trying to. We found them, nice deer. I didn't want to shoot any because I have a goal to shoot a large mule deer buck, but Jacob was willing to shoot anything. But I blew it for him. They winded me while I was supposed to be over watching. I got a little closer than I thought I would be, and we could see this one sentinel doe. She all of a sudden stood up, you could see her nose, and then all of a sudden she takes off, and she's just on the other side of the ridge for me, and they take off. Anyway, we tried finding more deer, but ultimately it just became a wet, miserable proposition. So we just chose not to mess with it. The following week, that was in the week from like the 10th through that Friday. I got to work a couple of days, and then I had meetings in Salt Lake on the Tuesday, 21st. And Greg and I pulled out on the 22nd, and we headed down to Arizona to hunt cruise deer. There's quite a difference from our Idaho weather. And as you can tell, Idaho is extremely beautiful right now. We've got all these beautiful fall leaves falling, and the backyard looks pretty fun with these, especially with these maple leaves. Anyway, we got down there and we hunted boy, I'll tell you, Arizona is just, and I think it's this way everywhere. We have got two minty hunters out chasing the same deer. In fact, we had some guys that literally shot a coos deer 50 yards to my right, and they were about 70 yards to my right. They were maybe 50 yards away from that, 30, 40, 50 yards away from that, but we never saw it. We come pulling in, parked there. They shot, and I'll tell you what, Greg was really, really mad. He was not happy. But, you know, I told Greg, hey, look, it just happens. It's the way it's gonna be. The next day, I actually got up to where we had, you know, we tried to find, and in that country, it's grassland, and there's ravines with oak and, you know, mesquite bush and different, and water, and we found some that were. Hello, honey. Hello. 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 My goodness, those things are so tiny. We're probably good. Right here in camp. She's coming right at us. Hello, sweetie. So behind me, those beautiful mountain ranges all the way back behind me, that's all in Mexico. And I think, Greg, what did you say we're at here? About 5,000 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5,000 feet in elevation. It's grassland. I went down through one of the ravines down in here to where this one intersected it and came back up. About a 30-minute hike. And there's tracks all over in there. It's just beautiful. I kept jumping doves. I figured I'd jump some quail too, but I don't know. I didn't jump them. I didn't see them, but they're in there. Anyway, just beautiful. But this country is just so amazing, and there's so much vegetation. It's like, this is not the desert here. This is mountains, grassland. So, as you can see, lots of grassland, and those deer are pretty cool. But we continue. Greg was supposed to spot one that I jumped out, but I guess he didn't want to come out.
You can see the wall right there.
Can you see the wall?
Right there. If you zoom in, probably.
Okay. President Trump's wall.
I don't know if I can see it. I can't see it in this light.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. I'm horrible at filming this.
Nice.
It might be in the video.
Perfect. Perfect.
It might be in the video there.
All right. Great. Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
Good. down there in Arizona hunts the same way. They all have tremendous glass eyepieces to see long distance and spot. But you're seeing the exact same thing over and over and over again. My thought was, walk over to the ravines where there is no road. And doing that, I was able to jump 3 Coues deer bucks. They were 100 and maybe 125, 135 yards away from me. And I had forgotten the most important thing that I carry now, and that's a shooting stick. That's so I can rest my rifle on that and I'm steady. What was I doing? I was literally had a backpack on, I was winded, and I was doing this, twisting. And consequently, I saw 3 of them. One was a very nice buck. The one I was shooting at was a decent buck, and there was a smaller buck. 3 bucks altogether. I shot 4 times, and I went, and my buddy was saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm emptying out my clip so I can load more. I still have the shells in there." This is empty. But and by then, the deer had started to move, and they're so lightning fast. But all in all, it was a fun hunt. We didn't ever see any more. Like I say, I just think there's far too many people, and I think one of the strategies I'll use next time I go is to merely sit in a ravine all day long and just glass it. Just glass it, maybe 1 or 2 ravines where no one else can really see. The rifle I used this year was my trusty 270. It's a Savage Access 2. Not the highest grade rifle out there, but you know what? It works. Good shooter. You can abuse these Savages, and they just work. You know, this year in Idaho, coming down through these creeks, and we had so much water, and I took in. I use a gun bearer, so it sits in my, I don't have to carry it on my shoulders anymore. It sits on my pack, and then it's got a strap here. And I bent down, and all of a sudden, and the rifle fell out of the gun bearer, landed right straight into the creek. And it stayed wet for like a full day. I couldn't dry it out because it was so wet up there. But went out and shot it before we went to Arizona, and it shot great. But nonetheless, it was a fun hunt with this 270 and hunting Coues deer, hunting with friends, Greg and Tom and Joey and Dane and my brother-in-law Kevin and my nephew Jacob. It was a little bit of a different year. We might have had some different results. Definitely would have had different results had the weather been a little bit more cooperative. Arizona would have been a little different. Coues deer are just so different. You know, mule deer is huge, big. But Coues deer, tiny, just tiny. So anyway, we had a good hunt, and I'm actually looking forward to doing it again. But I'll try to be a little smarter about it. But all in all, so this year, deer 2, hunters 0. That's how many tags I had. I had an Idaho tag, and I had a Arizona tag. So we'll see what happens. We'll be heading back down to Arizona here in about 3 months. A little over 3 months. We'll be heading back down for javelina. We'll look forward to that. That's for sure. Hope all is well. I think I've got some squirrels running around behind me. I can hear them, little boogers. Anyway, thanks for watching. thanks for keeping us. We'll keep you entertained with all the shenanigans that we have. So, anyway, loving it. Thanks.